TD Ryan Unleashed is brought to you by Scott Ziman, your State Farm insurance agent in DeKalb. Call 815-748-3101 or stop by at 2587 Sycamore Road, Suite D in DeKalb. Like a good neighbor, Scott Ziman and State Farm are there. Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more at 824 West Lincoln Highway in DeKalb. Don't forget Kids Eat for Free on Thursday. For delivery or pickup, go to pizzavilla.com or call 815-758-8116. Elder Care Services of DeKalb. Safe, secure, and supported, helping you stay in home where you want to be. Call 815-758-6550 or stop in at 1701 East Lincoln Highway in DeKalb or on the web at ecsdekalb.org. My Insurance Guy in Sycamore covers Medicare to auto care and everything in between. Stop by at 204 South Main Street in Sycamore. Call 815-899-0950 or online at myinsuranceguy.com. Welcome into TD Ryan News Podcast number 56. Well, we're missing in action is the oak tree of the news department, Dan Lynch, but more than making up for us, we have dueling co-new hosts. We have the president of the Turning Back Time to Fizz Ehrler, Turning Back Time car show, Kelly Kuhn, is with us. Kelly, how you doing?
I'm doing well today, thanks.
Thank you for making it this warm day. And, of course, it's a shame we're just doing audio because Mike DeVito decked out in his Turning Back Time car brilliant yellow shirt that he's wearing. Mike, how you doing this morning?
I am doing terrific today. Thanks for asking.
The first question I have for you guys, do you know what the best place in town to take a leak is?
We do.
I was going for the shock value there. Obviously, it doesn't shock you two because, Fizz Ehrler, I've been talking about this, for 26 years, you guys are on the radio about doing this, and I never really saw a picture of Fizz, and I love that when, Glenn Thomas Fizz Ehrler, that, of course, the car show is named after, married to June Summers, August 1966. Glenn worked as a production welder for Barbara Green from 1965 to 1970. He was a proud owner of Ehrler's Repair, where he said, the best place in town to take a leak.
That's right.
He did that for 27 years in 1997. Now, he was a member of the Road Angels for 23 years. I think I can guess what that is, but can you tell us? Is that people that come and help you on the side of the road?
Yeah, absolutely. They would, do like a service and come assist and things like that. Kind of like along those lines, yeah.
But just like an angel, if ever you have ever had a flat tire or broken down on the side of the road and some good Samaritan comes along, that's just like an angel, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So he was just he was known for that already.
He was. He's the kind of guy, if you had a problem and all the stories about him, that he was just a genuine good person and kind of a small town Americana kind of guy where, if you needed help with something, he was there. And he had a vast knowledge of automotive. So it was truly a guru and all that.
And we have the Fizz Ehrler Automotive Technology Scholarship Fund, providing scholarships for Sycamore High School graduates pursuing auto mechanics, collision, and diesel power technology. What a great legacy that is there.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'd love to talk to some of the kids there who got that. And then through the scholarship fund, the impact it creates, Glenn's memory stays alive and continues to leave a legacy of love, support for the community. And, of course, we'll be talking about the car show throughout the newscast this morning. I wanted to commend whoever posted this last year. I don't have the picture, but it's Fizz Ehrler's father, Don Ehrler, one of the only two Sycamore police officers back in the early 1940s riding Harley Davidsons in full uniform.
Right. That was
cool before cool was.
Absolutely. He was definitely cool. Like kind of a James Dean kind of cool.
Yeah,
right?
before James Dean.
Yeah.
Don wasn't just a lawman. He was a cornerstone of this community and proud father of Fizz Ehrler, the namesake of our car show. He's also the grandfather of Ryan Hutchinson, right?
Right. He's a board member and big longtime club supporter and show supporter. And
how neat is that?
Absolutely, really cool.
So the acorn doesn't fall far from the tree, does it?
No, not at all.
We talk about Fizz Ehrler. That's great. And, of course, they talk about the acorn not falling far from the tree. My Insurance Guy, I want to thank you for sponsoring this podcast. Thank you so much for that, Michael. And, of course, it's all in the family with you guys. I printed this out. You got your mug there and, of course, your son's mugs. And tell us about how it's all in the family there at My Insurance Guy.
Well, we basically started an agency back about almost 40 years ago. And we've grown over the years from a one-man band to multiple family members and different community members. Even my wife's involved. So
I love that.
I have a whole family thing, and we do all types of insurance, from auto and home to Medicare and group benefits for businesses.
You're an independent insurance broker.
We are
right?
independent. Basically, it's kind of like a free agent. So we don't work with one particular company. We work with multiple. So we use more of a consultative approach, where we look to the person that we're trying to insure and find them the best match.
All right, very good. Yeah, we'll talk some more about that again. What a great, again, and you guys have supported Sycamore so much through the years. It's just wonderful. But let's talk a little bit about what's going on with the news. Unfortunately, it starts with some bad stuff. Well, we got to get that out of the way because we can't judge what news we report. And that, of course, is the DeKalb sexual assault story happens. But they was arrested within 5 minutes of the event. The DeKalb Police, David Bird, who's been on this podcast numerous times, the three women all fought back. And I don't know if you guys heard about this, but this happened right here where we are at the DeKalb Public Library is where it started. DeKalb Police Chief David Bird said from the time the 911 call came from the DeKalb Public Library on Oak Street, the time that Morris Kemp, age 33, was arrested a block from the DeKalb Farmers Market took about 5 minutes. Two of the women suffered injuries in all three instances. The women fought back. Court records show library workers, farmers, market staff, passerbys, and witnesses helped out. Chief Bird said, I want to praise all the victims because they fought their offender. It was extremely courageous of them. Social workers with the DeKalb Police Department were immediately contacted with each woman to offer support and share services. All three were strangers to Kemp. Kemp wasn't an unfamiliar face in the library. However, he's shown up more than once before, July 2nd, appearing calm without incidents, sometimes speaking to patrons. The initial assault happened in the computer lab. So it starts here at the library. He attacks a woman here in the computer lab. They chase him out in the street. He goes down to the farmer's market, which is a couple blocks away, and he attacks two more women down there. The good news, like I said, is that all three women fought back, and, it just had to be so surreal. I can't imagine being at a farmer's market, and this naked man comes down, but people reacted. It's so great to hear that, and they got him arrested within 5 minutes.
Absolutely, yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's it had a good resolution, at least, with him being, stopped.
Yeah.
And then the ladies the women fighting back, the victims, like the police chief said. So it's something that you hope to never have to even have this conversation about. It's kind of senseless in many different ways, but thankfully it didn't escalate to more severe.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so God bless the DeKalb Fire Department, Police Department, getting them there too. Kemp is going to remain held in DeKalb County Jail. He will not be released as of right now. And this next story we're talking about involves traffic. Pease and Barber Green Road will remain a four-way stop sign. Now, this was July 1st, so this was for 2 weeks here. But I drove out there, Mike, and I'm just wondering, people tend to panic when it's usually a four-way stoplight, and now it's a four-way stop sign. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm a four-way stop sign. The person on my right, I yield to the person on my right, right?
It's typically the way you're supposed to do it.
Now, here's the key word, is supposed to.
Yes.
But what do you see like this? Does this scare you as an insurance man to see they take a stoplight and make it a four-way stop for a couple of weeks?
Anytime you make traffic changes and people are kind of on autopilot in their mind, it's a concerning thing. I'm sure anyone that works with anything to do with, traffic and enforcement and, trying to logistically figure this stuff out. So, I mean, we've had some bad stories over the years where they change even the cones. They'll do construction on a road. I remember the story years ago. I won't leave people's names out of it, but literally every morning this lady would always come, turn right, and go into the oncoming lane, which was closed off, and that was her road to go down. And one morning the construction was over, and she kind of just was on autopilot. She had her kid in the car, and literally it didn't end well. A semi truck was coming the other way, and it was it was a horrible tragedy.
Wow.
So that was literally what had occurred, and it's kind of like you're used to certain things, so it's kind of one of these. Pay attention while you're driving. Notice what's going on when you remove a stoplight from an area, and then you put stop signs in or whatnot. It can confuse people. So
yeah, and especially Peace Road. I mean, that's the wild, wild west out there anyway.
Yeah,
that road.
I remember when I had first come out years ago. They would make cracks. They'd call it Rest in Peace Road or whatever.
Oh, jeez.
But in a sad way, though, in a serious note, though, it's a very dangerous road. I've even had in my own family some instances where, with my own son, years ago when it was really icy out, Kelly can attest to this, where he rolled right off the road and he rolled literally his 4x4, and he wasn't even driving fast, but he was lucky to walk away from that because the passenger side was completely crushed in.
Wow.
And he was going like, I think, 5 miles an hour. But on these country roads, and even Peace being a country road with that long ditch down, you can really do some damage. It's not, there's no guardrail or anything. So you just got to be real careful on those roads.
Yeah, and a lot of people have that strange or a false sense of confidence with the 4x4, with the four-wheel drive. We think that we can drive it through anything.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. You think, hey, I'm invincible. I got a 4-wheel drive vehicle, and everything will be okay.
And just to give people some numbers here, about 23,400 vehicles travel through the intersection every day. And that was during the fall of 2025.
Right.
Of these vehicles, 1,540 were trucks.
Yeah.
You talk about that, how bad.
Oh, yeah, and it's all under construction over in a lot of areas on Peace, so you got to be cautious here. It is a dangerous road. People in general, though, I mean, like, we always think of how do I die, right? Heart disease, cancer, stroke. People forget one of the largest and probably right up there is automobile crashes. So
Yeah.
if we can get that reduced, it would be a good thing in the future through knowledge, and hopefully technology going forward will help that.
I just read a novel where the guy, whenever he says goodbye to somebody, says, "I hope you die in your sleep," which sounds kind of morbid, but then again, it's really this what we all can hope for, right? It's ideally that you die in your sleep.
Yeah, peacefully in your sleep. At a long, good, healthy age, and with all your family around you, right?
Now I want to talk to you about, Kelly, I cheated, and you guys have such a great website, again, the Turning Back Time Car Show website, that you have frequently asked questions. I'm going to cheat and use your frequently asked questions. What time do the gates open?
Gates open at 7 a.m.
Now, we're talking about Sunday, but it's really so much more than that, right? It's really the whole weekend, isn't it?
Yes
Car
and
show.
no.
Yes,
Our car show itself is Sunday
Right.
only. Josh at Dirty Bird in Sycamore hosts a cruise night on Saturday night.
Okay.
So that starts kind of Saturday afternoon-ish and rolls into Saturday evening. And then a lot of those same cars come back for Sunday morning.
Did you cruise back in the day? Did you cruise the town?
As a high schooler,
Yeah.
sure.
Uh-huh.
That was something that you did. You cruised Lincoln Highway.
Did you do the Chinese fire alarm with the change drivers?
I cannot admit to that without.
Because that's I
Yeah.
think the statute of limitations have
Oh,
have
well,
gone.
all right. If my parents are listening, no, I did not
you
play
did
that
not.
game.
How about you, Mike? Did you
yeah.
cruise? There was a certain route that you would take, right?
Absolutely. I cruised, and then I remember you get pointed. They'd point you down, and that meant you got to pull over, and then they wanted to talk to you.
Oh, I was going to say, what
So-
was the high point of cruising of that? Was that it?
Well, you wanted to get pointed down, especially if the car was filled with opposite sex females.
Sure.
So then you would go, "Oh, I'm being pointed down, so I need to pull over," and then they would talk to you, and
I never heard the term pointed down. That's good to know.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
drive around and they point you. And I've done the fire drill that you mentioned too, where you get out. But I'm in the male crowd, so we did a little crazier stuff.
Yeah, it was a little more adventuresome. All right, can I come early to get a good parking spot for the car show?
At the gate opens at 7, so you can come and line up.
So first come, first serve.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. As spectators, you can park anywhere, not in the downtown, outside of the gated areas,
Okay.
and come anytime.
Now, one
and
of my-
that's free for everybody.
One of my favorite quotes from the guys that are displaying here that what is it? Trailers are for horses, not for cars. But there's a question here about trailer. Is there a place for trailer parking?
We do have a place for trailer parking. It's usually over in the parking lot by Blackhawk. Thank you. I couldn't think of the name of it.
No problem.
Blackhawk parking lot.
And do you see? Do most people drive their cars there? They're classic.
Most do. Most do. We have a few that are not able to sit and
okay.
idle for any length of time without overheating, and so those come
Okay.
in on trailers. Some of them are super fancy, and if there's any kind of inclement weather, then they don't come at all.
Yeah, I bet they don't want their baby out in the weather, right?
That's right. That's right. But
Do they have to
most
run?
people drive them in.
Do they have to be running? I mean, do they have to be able to start? Is that a thing?
Well,
I've
know
seen
it's
it
an odd
all.
question.
I was gonna.
I've seen it all. I've seen trailer queens where
Trailer queens.
they push them on the trailer. I learned what a trailer queen was years ago. What's a trailer queen?
I know we're learning things
Yeah,
here.
yeah. So they'll come on the trailer. You push them off. You push them on. Maybe they start the engine, and then she goes back on. It's usually a she. She goes back on, and some of these vehicles are more than a house.
Sure, yeah.
So they cost more than a house. So, and like Kelly said, they'll check the weather before they come, and they're like, if there's a cloud even in a 500-mile radius, we may not go out today.
That's always the catch-22 to me, that you want to drive this beautiful car, but then you're afraid to drive the beautiful car. God forbid somebody else hits
Right.
you.
I've seen some pretty cool things over the years where I've gone to different shows, and one of the things we do in insurance is we do collector car insurance. So I've gotten to go to different shows in different parts of the country and different parts of the state. Anyhow, I met a few guys with some really cool cars, and probably probably the best one was a guy. He had an old Corvette, and he had this picture book, and he and his wife, they had this trailer, and they trailered this little trailer behind this Corvette, and they went all over the country. They were in all the states, and he had pictures of him in this book, and he was so proud of it. And he had over 500,000 miles on this Corvette.
Wow.
And he would tell you the whole story about it. The point is, his philosophy was cars are meant to be driven and to be seen and to go out and to do things and to live. And I thought, what a cool guy. And I remember my Michael, who's a man now and, a couple kids or whatever, but back then he was a teenager. He was really, drawn back by this, and he thought, that guy is really cool. And anyways, of all the people we met, he stood out probably most of somebody that I would say understood, you get a car, drive it. He goes, you can always paint it, you can always fix it, you can always do this, but you can't make those memories again.
Right,
once you do it, and that was his whole thing.
Or give me a quick answer on this one. Somebody like Jay Leno, who owns like, I think 200 and some cars.
Awesome.
What does he do for insurance? Does he get like one blanket insurance for all those cars?
Right. So he has a collector policy, and they're not very expensive. People think, oh, this is so much money.
Yeah.
They're really not, because you typically take better care of, like Kelly just said, they don't bring the car if there's a cloud or whatever too in there, if it's going to rain. So they tend to, liability is our biggest thing, and collision and things like that. So your daily driver, a lot of times that you drive every day, even if it's an old beater, will cost more to insure a lot of times than some of these old cars.
Is that right? All right. We'll
Because of the way it's driven and how it's driven. And again, if we're pushing it on and off a trailer and it's just going to shows and it's not really driving in traffic or on the expressway or all the high, snowstorm, rainstorm and all that, there's less liability potentially. So,
All right, very good. Now, I guess we're all about roads here. Sycamore authorizes $1.4 million contract in road projects. I know people are obsessed with DeKalb about the roads, and the Sycamore, I'm assuming, the same way, that we need more money for the roads, but $1.4 million for contracts will be spent on the roads. $108 million will be used for the motor fuel tax project. Do you know what that is, the motor fuel tax project?
They, I think they have a tax for about everything, but
Yeah. And then the Stark Avenue reconstruction project.
Right.
If you know where Stark Avenue is.
Yes.
By doing so, the city can work directly with homeowners to blend driveways. Now this is an issue I have at my house in DeKalb, is that my driveway needs to be redone. And I've been talking to my alderman about that, but that's what you do, right? You talk to your alderman.
Sure.
That's the key.
That's
But
it.
some of the other projects, Wyman Street, Borden Avenue, Kingsway Drive, Vista Terrace, and Becker Place will all be done. So kudos for Sycamore getting that road work done.
Absolutely.
But again, another thing involving cars. 5 people were hospitalized Tuesday after an SUV rolled over multiple times in a 2-vehicle accident in Kingston Township, according to the DeKalb Sheriff's Department. A Davis Junction woman driving a silver Suburban, and when 4 passengers inside, including a 64-year-old woman, were hurt when the vehicle was struck by a white GMC Traverse. Mm-hmm. According to the news release, the Suburban was struck by the rear driver's side, causing it to roll over multiple times.
Wow.
Man,
Wow.
with a car full of people there.
Wow.
Impact was taken. The impacted were taken to a nearby hospital. The driver of the Traverse, a Roscoe woman, was cited by the sheriff's office for disobeying the stop sign. That always kills me when this person who did this, they're going to get just charged with disobeying the stop sign. Meanwhile, you put 4 people in the hospital.
Right.
But I know that's just the way it plays out. She wasn't injured in the crash. She didn't have any passengers. She was driving south on Pleasant Hill Road in Illinois 72 and allegedly disobeyed the stop sign, crashing into the Chevrolet, according to authorities. So, again, we just talked about it. You always got to pay attention, right? Becky and I were coming back from St. Charles on 38 there, and some clown came over into our lane, and Becky had the foresight to pull over in the shoulder. But, we didn't. I don't know what would have happened. But
Yeah, you never know. I mean, it's, rolling the dice every time you get behind the wheel.
yeah, and so, again, be ever vigilant. That's the key. We're talking about the Fizz Ehrler Car Show coming on July 27th in beautiful downtown Sycamore. Talking about some of the frequently asked questions. And now, if I prepaid, do I have to wait in line if I prepaid?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Like you said, it's first come, first served.
That's right. You
7 in
still
the
have
morning.
to. You wait in line at the gate. Your name will be on our checkoff list. So if you're prepaid, you'll check in with our gate keepers, and they'll wave you through.
Okay. Now, how is the show judged here? Participating voting, top 100. Other special awards are given based on vote tally. A couple of special awards. I know one is, the furthest traveled, right? Isn't there one
That
for?
is correct. We
Okay.
do have a furthest travel. It is a participant judged show, so we don't have any professional judging. So if you enter a car, you get a ballot.
Oh, so it's all participant.
The whole
Okay.
show is participant judged, yes. So
Oh, but the mayor has his choice, right?
the mayor has mayor's choice.
Okay.
Kids.
Yeah, we have a kid's choice. We have kids that get to vote. One of the
That must be interesting.
It is. It's fun. It's fun. We don't let them choose from the whole entry of the show. We usually narrow it down to,
Yeah, you'd almost have to.
4
Yeah.
or 5 cars usually. And we ask those car owners when they come in if they'd be willing to be part of our Kids' Choice Awards. And then the kids walk around to each one of those cars. The owner talks to the kids about their car, what they've done to it, what it does, that kind of stuff.
So the kids don't have a criteria. They come up with their own questions.
They kind of ask their own questions, but then they also vote based on what they like the best, and sometimes
Okay.
it's the color.
And are we seeing repeat winners? Like, for instance, is there like a Corvette category? Is there certain categories where certain people dominate all the time? Or
We don't have categories.
There's sometimes like best interior or things like that that'll be like side awards. But what'll happen a lot of times is we have had where an owner of a car has actually won best of show a couple different times.
okay, well that would have to
Because-
happen, I would think. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's really no. We had that happen a few years ago. It was kind of we never like people said, "Oh my gosh, how did that happen?" Because there really isn't anything in it. And we're looking in, and now we're 26. This will be the 26 years, so you've got kind of things happening. But we'll have people that redo these cars. Some of them are same owner, different car, but we actually had an owner of the same car that was entered twice, judged for best of show. Which again, remember that is picked by the people that
Right.
enter their cars. So if there's 800 entries, that's 800 ballots of people voting that brought their cars. Whoever gets the most votes out of that for best of show, then that's who wins it. We don't.
No
we
rigged
don't pick
elections
that.
here, right? Yeah.
No. In fact, it's interesting. We have a accounting done, and then I have actually we try to get a lot of the graduates of Sycamore, college kids, high school kids. They go in and they actually count all the ballots from everything. So if you're angry, it's usually a high schooler or a college kid, but they don't have any vested interest. They just are good with math, know how to use computers, and get that judging and counting done because that actually
In a
takes,
timely fashion.
Yeah, it's in a timely fashion.
Yeah.
we have to count those ballots, and
We have an
there's a
hour.
lot to count.
Yeah.
They only have an hour to do it, so they got to get it together. So there's. A lot
I was
of-
told there'd be no math. I know I would have I wouldn't be able to do that.
We just make sure they have water. I don't really count, and I'm in the other way walking. I'm like, okay, have fun, guys. But they are usually math students and computer people that love that. So
We're talking to our
Right up
friends
their
from the
alley.
Fizz Ehrler Turning Back Time Car Show coming up on the 27th. Let's take a look at community calendar. Obviously, the car show coming up, but we also have a Man Who Came to Dinner. We'll start July 23rd at the beautiful Stagecoach Players Theater. Of course, they are a sponsor of the community calendar. Go to stagecoachplayers.com, find out all the shows they got going on. Call ahead 815-758-1940. And next week, we'll be giving away tickets to The Man Who Came to Dinner. Biking with Beansy is Sunday, July 12th. We're opposite of you guys. People out there riding. You guys bike riders at all? I just started riding myself a little bit.
I don't mind riding a bike. If I'm on a trail and I'm in a safe place, going down Peace Road would probably not be a good idea. But the concept is there. Yeah, it's okay.
How about you, Kel? Do you get out occasionally?
No.
All right.
Not in
There's
a
a
long
reason we're in the
time.
auto club. Probably, I guess. That's
That's
right. We
the
like the cars. Yeah.
I love it. But Biking with Benzie is Sunday, July 12th. You can ride 21 miles, 43, or 63. Mike would probably take the 63 miles. You can register at KishwaukieKiwanis.org, KishwaukieKiwanis.org. A great the group there, Bill Finucane and the gang. Let's Dance Big Band Weekend. The Duke Ellington Ballroom at IU Home Student Center will host live band dancing for 3 nights, July 10th through the 12th. Now, you guys ever cut the rug? Becky and I took lessons, and she would not practice with me. She refused to. Well, actually, and then the dog would bark whenever we tried to dance. But you guys dancers at all?
Kelly has advanced. She's got a bunch of daughters. They all get dance.
Yeah. I
Is
have
there-
daughters who dance.
Okay.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
never got the calling?
I took, I danced in high school, but it wasn't really dance then, not like it is now.
Okay. How about line dancing?
I took some dance lessons before my daughter's wedding.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
And your husband?
Yeah. It was not pretty, but we did it.
I even went to a couple of those too.
Yeah, we did it.
What did he do? A waltz, or what'd you do? Do you remember what you did?
Yeah, it was just like two-stepping,
Uh-huh.
basically. Yeah,
That's great.
2 left feet stepping on each other.
Oh, hey, you
Not-
fellow lefty. All right.
yeah.
Everyone's more right-handed, only the best overcome it. They're always
Lefty
tough.
too. We got 3 lefties.
Oh, we got 3 lefties. What are the
Pretty
odds
scary.
on that? I know. Booze and Spirits, too. Now, these always sell out, but it's a great thing. The Egyptian Theater, I'm convinced that is haunted. You can find out about the next Booze and Spirits tour, though, at EgyptianTheater.org, but that's coming up tomorrow night. Familia Fest featuring the Hola Cup in DeKalb Northern Public Radio will host the family-friendly soccer celebration from 9 a.m. to 4:30 on Saturday. Now, did you guys watch the U.S. soccer team?
A little bit.
It's a little disappointing there, that last game, but what are you going to do? But
I got to ask you, Egyptian Theater. What makes you think it's haunted? Have you been there? When
no,
it
but
was-
it's just everything's set. Everything is perfect for a haunting.
They used to do. They had a haunted theater a couple years back. I don't know, the last 20 years I've been at, and it was pretty well put together
believe
for
it.
that. But it
Kelly, do you
doesn't really-
just believe in spooks? Do you believe in? I do believe in spooks. I do believe.
No,
No. All right. Well, that's good. That's about honest.
not a haunted house fan either.
All right.
There is a haunted car. Remember Christine?
That's right.
The
Oh, that's
Stephen
a scary,
King.
That's a great novel. That really is. Witches and Wellness. Speaking of scary, On DeKalb, enjoy a weekend of magic, wellness, and wonders. Witches and Wellness Expo, Saturday, July 11th and Sunday, July 12th at the NAU Alt Guild Hall. The event has mystical marketplaces, lectures, presentations, workshops. Visit breakingfate.com for more, breakingfate.com. Well, that sounds like an interesting group. And Hidden Histories, the DeKalb Public Library will host a program that focuses on important stories of Americans past, rarely appeared in textbooks, from 1 to 2 p.m. on Saturday. The free event is for adults. Teens are welcome as well. Registration not required. Go to dkpl.org for more information. Yeah, the library's been running some great events, too, and one of those is we learned that, do you know that Benny, who's the guy? Jack Benny is from, not Naperville, where's he from? From one of the small towns here in Illinois.
Wheaton or?
Is it Wheaton? That might be Wheaton, yeah. Yeah, I think they did a whole special on that. So we're also talking about the Turning Back Time car show. Now, tell us, Kelly, the key, really, if you want to call it the key, is to have nonprofits, right? Tell us about how nonprofits are involved with the car show.
It is nonprofit. We are a nonprofit as a group, so we have that 501c3 title. So we get to assist with lots of different groups at the end of our show. So the money that we raise isn't necessarily raised by nonprofits. We have lots of for-profit companies that support us.
Well,
of
sure,
course.
yeah.
But we get to, at the end of each car show season, kind of go through and figure out what did we raise with our car show and who can we help?
Well, you've helped us.
Which
You know,
is
we did
the best part.
Freezing for Food. You guys help us out every year with that. We always
Absolutely.
appreciate that. And always fun when you guys bring the big check at the end there. Mike, what are some of the other nonprofits there that are there? You give them booth space, right? You give them an opportunity
Absolutely.
to.
They have that. We have vendors and sponsors. Some are profit, some are non-for-profit. A lot of the things that we do, so a lot of people don't know this, but our show is, like Kelly said, completely a 501c3. Everyone that's involved in the show, as far as helping put it on, is a volunteer. We're all volunteers. We're not paid. We're here to do it to help out the community. The money we raise from the show, after we pay for the hand washing stations and the porta potties and that fun stuff, we sit down about a month or two later after we're all kind of rested, because it's a long day. We get there at 3, 4 in the morning getting ready.
Yeah.
In fact, tonight we're cleaning out the trailer. That's one of the things to get ready for the show. So we kind of do these things all throughout. But the point of what I'm getting at is, once we figure out we've got everything squared away, we sit down and we have our scholarships that we give away to the kids through the high school Sycamore. This year we gave away 3 to different kids that are graduating seniors. We also have like Safe Passage, Salvation Army.
There you go.
The Tails Humane Society, Barn on Baseline, can't forget the pooches and the kitties. We also do a lot of different things within, like Freezing for Food. We also have the Sycamore Food Pantry, United Methodist Pantry. We have on our Facebook page a lot of times, and it was funny because Tim, one of our board members, and Kelly's husband, he kept hitting the shelters last year, and I do a lot of the posts on Facebook, and I said he had all these photos with him with dogs. So in the next photo they sent me, because they send on me and they say, here, he delivered a check to the Barn on Baseline. So somebody named him Dog Man. So I ended up putting Dog Man's at it again. He's now at Tails, and he's got a dog there. And then I teased him. I said, because he loves dogs. They have 3, and I said, "Are you bringing a couple of them home? Would Kelly like that?"
No, you better not be.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's really nice, because the nice thing that the show does is, we raise tens of thousands of dollars. Over the years, we've raised several $100,000 and be able to give it back to the community. So we look to things that are happening in our community, people that are in need, a cancer center, different organizations, and other nonprofits, like you mentioned, where we sit down, and a lot of the board members might have a favorite charity that they like, and we put it up on a marker board, and we kind of deduce down, and we go, how much money do we have? How much can we give away? And we really like to, we've really turned, the show has really grown in the sense that we're trying to make it, that's what the point of becoming codified with the city of Sycamore. I was in before with you with the mayor at one point, I remember, and one of the first things he said of Sycamore, the current mayor, he said one of his first acts was to make the car show an annual event. That's a city-sponsored event, like the.
Well, there's a name for that, isn't there? Like that
Codified.
Sunday is designated
Yeah.
codified. Okay.
Codified. Yeah, I had to. I'm just kind of a simple guy in respect to. So what does that mean? And then my son Michael, who's more into that, he goes, "That's a good thing, Dad. That means that we're like on the book. We're on the
And
show.
always the last Sunday in July.
It's
right?
always
So-
the last Sunday in July, and we kind of own that weekend, is how I've been described. So we get to kind of choose if there's other people putting on another show or things like that, that's our weekend because the entire city actually is closed down for the show and they reroute the traffic. And
It's
then,
amazing. Yeah, shout out to the Sycamore Police Department.
Yeah, they do an
Oh,
amazing
yeah.
job.
Fire department, public works, city
Yeah.
public
Yeah.
works. Those
And
guys
they
do a
talk to
lot
us
of
and
work.
we're in contact with them. They make sure that, keeping everyone safe because, the craziest things that you never think about, they think about
Yeah.
because they have to. And they're
Well,
out
think of the
there.
enormity of the whole thing. You're bringing 1,000 cars into the city, not to mention all the people that are going to come to look at the cars.
Absolutely.
And you do it all within a 24-hour period. It's
Yeah,
just crazy.
absolutely. We have flyovers. There's planes that are going to fly over.
I love that
close to
part.
Town. Yeah, we have the color guard there. We'll have the national anthem. They have O'Donnell Crane comes, the giant flag.
And
It's
Kelly,
really,
we have a better sound system than ever, right? Now
Yeah,
the sound system is
Yeah,
ideal,
like
right? We
the-
can that's
yeah, right. Well,
Actually,
3D
here-
Sound, gentleman that comes from there, he's been doing it for decades. He's awesome. He puts, like we always joke that if something ever happens to him, who's going to stand out there? And he knows like all the cars, everything. So he literally, and he loves to do our show. He does a ton of car shows, but we're like one of his big ones that he likes to hit. And
Dave does.
Dave Palmer. Right?
Dave
Yeah.
Palmer does a great job, and he not only knows the cars, he knows the people driving them.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
and it's kind of a whole community. So he's with 3D Sound, and he is awesome. But when we got the city sound system, they said, "Hey, you don't need to bring all your stuff anymore." So he plugs into that, and then he talks on there, and then they play some music
Yeah.
and stuff.
I love
But It's pretty cool.
Well, you got to have the car songs. Whenever you guys used to come on at WLBK, I'd go searching through the archives for
Sure.
all the Beach Boys, the little GTO. There's so many great car
Right,
songs. Just
right.
like that's fun. We're going to talk some more about that. I want to talk about motorcycles, too, there at the car show. But let's take a look at sports. Now, sports, we always take a limited look here, but this is a big look at Sycamore Athletic Director Chauncey Kerrick will receive the Lifetime Service Wrestling Award. And folks that know Chauncey, you guys know Chauncey Kerrick?
Absolutely.
Just an incredible gentleman. Kerrick will be honored this fall with one of Illinois' wrestling highest recognitions for his dedicated service, for his decades of service to the sport. The Illinois chapter of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame announced that Kerrick will receive the Lifetime Service to Wrestling Award organization annual banquet on October 18th. Kerrick has been involved in wrestling at the local, state, and national levels throughout his career. A graduate of Mount Pleasant in Iowa. When you look at Chauncey, too, you don't realize that he was a badass back then in high school. He was a 3-time champion back when he was in high school. Coached at Mount Macomb High School, and then 13 years here at Sycamore High School, and of course now is the athletic director. Greatest compliment I ever got in my life was Chauncey Kerrick telling me that he listened to me when we used to do the baseball games. I used to announce the Sycamore baseball games, and he said he would love to sit and listen to me do a baseball game.
Me too.
Greatest compliment I ever got. I'd say.
Absolutely. I love listening to you. I miss you on the
Well, I
radio.
appreciate that, man. Kerrick compiled a 180-95 record, coaching to 29 state qualifiers and 7 state place winners. 2010, he led the Spartans to the school's first appearance in the IHSA state dual tournament. The same year, the Illinois Wrestling Coaches and Official Associations named him the Class 2A Coach of the Year. So he will obviously be a guest here on a near future podcast. But Chauncey Kerrick, just great to have an athletic director like that. It's just like Peter Goff and DeKalb, just to have somebody there for so long. The gentleman in Genoa I talk to all the time, he says he's on his 3rd or 4th generation of kids that he recognizes, the parents and then the grandparents. Just amazing to have that consistency there. And of course, the Sycamore school system, you know how wonderful that is. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's nice
Yeah.
to see.
What do you got?
And-
So, the little people, what do you got for?
I have 4
Four?
children. They're
Okay.
all grown.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are they doing? What are they?
Well, my oldest is married to Mike's son, Michael.
Okay.
Then she has 2 babies. They have 2 babies.
They're
2
busy.
grandsons.
Boy,
They're
following them
busy.
on Facebook, they're everywhere. Those two.
Yeah, yeah.
She's also was a teacher
Yeah.
and as a PhD in
Yeah.
teaching education.
That's
was
right.
a teacher at Sycamore.
That's right.
And then
Oh, okay.
now she's doing the full-time mom gig
home
for
with
a while.
her, home with her babies.
Okay.
My second daughter, Catherine, just got married in May. She lives in St. Louis.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Meet me in St. Louis, Louis.
Yeah. I have a son, Will, who is
Intern.
works for Intren. Yeah. And then my youngest daughter, Amelia, opened a flower shop in Sycamore.
Oh, neat.
She worked for Carefree Flowers.
Okay.
And Carefree is no longer Carefree, but now Flowers by
Let's give her a
Amelia.
little plug. What is it? Flowers,
Flowers by Amelia.
And where's she at? Is she-
She's on Main Street in Sycamore, next
Okay.
to Italian Dreams, right by the country store and catering.
All right. Well, we wish her the best. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
That's great. So we were talking about now there's also motorcycles at the show, right? Tell us about that. Do they have their own little separate category there? The
They
motorcycles?
do. The Odd Fellows group has graciously taken over coordinating the motorcycle show. And so this will be their 2nd year, 3rd
Right.
year.
Yeah, they stepped in and they help out putting that together. So
Yeah.
they kind of do because we have enough kind of with the car show. To
Sure,
do.
yeah.
So the motorcycle category, it's great that we have them coming in and they kind of get it all together. And
They're over there by the Sycamore Theater. Is that where they kind of set up shop there?
They'll actually be moving this year. They were over by the Sycamore Theater. This year, they're going to be moved over to Elm Street between California and
kind of by Softwater City over
Sacramento.
Okay.
In that
Yeah,
area.
in that general
there.
vicinity.
Right around the block.
Gives them a little bit more space.
On the street there. Hold on.
Yeah, and allows for they have a trailer. The Oddfellows have a trailer, so it gives them
Okay.
a little more room for that.
Now,
and
is it
their
all random?
gate-
Because I was saying, you don't like put all the Corvettes together and the Camaros.
You know, some clubs groups come, like there's Corvette clubs that'll show
Oh, that's
up or
why we
whatever,
see 'em in a little
and
block,
then
okay.
they'll park, or they want to park by their
Together.
friend.
Yeah.
But since we have an opening where it's like first come, you get to drive in, and the whole town is closed off, and it fits over almost 1,000 cars, right? But some people are kind of like heated, like I want to park next to my friend, and I want to do this.
Yeah.
And the reality of it is we just kind of have them come in. So if you do get there early, a lot of guys will get there. They're there at midnight, and they park over by the parking lot over by the library. And then a lot of times I'll go out. I've done this many times. Thankfully last year got to not do it, but it involves you going over and releasing the lot, and then they all drive their cars in. But there's people there that are out there. They've been doing this for decades, and they park early, and then we release the lots. So the first 2 lots come in. But then there's other people that come, and if it's kind of, again, when the gates open, they come driving through on Elm Street, and then they'll right off of about 23 in Elm Street, they'll come in, and then
they get to park wherever they want. If
And
they're
they
they
can
get
park
to
where
town,
they
they
want,
can drive,
yeah.
they can park by
And
the
the
now,
people
is that
who've been
madness
coming,
there? Is that because people are worried
it's
about their cars
guided-
too,
it's
right?
Organized
guided.
chaos.
It's
It's organized
Organized
chaos.
chaos.
It would
It
have
is
to be.
guided. We do have parking attendants.
Right.
Oh, you
for
do?
that,
Okay.
who
All
are
right.
directing traffic.
Yeah.
And especially as the morning goes on, usually 7:00 in the morning, the people who are there at 7, ready to come in, have been doing it for a number of years. They have a particular spot in mind that they want to park
Okay.
in, and so they kind of make a beeline for that spot. Once it gets a little later in the day, the gates are open until noon, and so if you show up at 11:30, then it's you're gonna park where there's a spot, and we have walkie-talkies, so we're talking about where are there open spaces to park.
Do you have late arrivals like that? Do people come
Sure.
late? Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
There's
Very
a
good.
story for everything we've had. And ironically, I was noticing, I've been doing this for many years, and I looked one year, and I had said, it's literally the entrance is right across the street from my insurance guy's office. So it's like Elm Street and Main Street is where you come in. So they'll come in, but that's the gate to get in.
Okay.
Officially for that, at least, 24-hour period that's kind of roped off for that. But they'll come in, and if you're there and you're on the list, like Kelly said, you pre-entered, meaning you went to our website, you paid the $10, a whopping $10 to be at the show, great. If you don't want to do that, or you didn't do it, then it's $20 at the gate cash. So people, some people want to wait to see if it's going to rain. Some
Right.
people didn't know, or they didn't go online or whatever. But if you've pre-entered, and then you kind of avoid having to pay there, and then you park your car and you come in, and then you have to go up to the front booth, which is in the center of town.
I like how you got your plug in there for my insurance company. That was good.
Oh, I
And
just
now-
kinda threw
happens to be on Elm Street, right? Now, much like the morning show, we do the obituaries too, because when I worked at the radio station, you used to have to pay to have your obituary on, and we thought that was wrong. So we pick on, there's so many fabulous people in our community. This is Robert Bob Clarner, was born in November 1934, 6th of 8 siblings. He was the last sibling to pass. Bob attended Sycamore High School and graduated in 1952. And then he attended the Moeller Barber College in Chicago. Now, is there still a barber college? You know?
I can't say, but I did see I saw some type of over by O'Hare Airport the other day. I think it was one of those like Vidal Sisson places.
Yeah, well, the college, but I mean a barber college.
Right,
You
but
don't, you don't hear
I'm sure
that
there's
term.
still- I know you have to have a license to be a barber.
Yes.
That's the thing, yeah.
In 1957, he was drafted by the United States Army in the basic training in Virginia. 2 years in the Army, he joined, then returned home and started his barbering career in DeKalb. He then joined his brother-in-law, Benny McMillan, in Sycamore, a barber there for over 50 years. So I bet he knew everybody in town.
I've been in that shop. I remember being there. And in fact, your son-in-law, Michael, I brought him there for one of his first haircuts.
Is
So,
that right?
Yes.
Wow. See, I knew you would know this. The shop was on State Street in Sycamore until he moved to his own shop on California Street. He retired in 2012. He had the pleasure of giving many young men their first haircuts, including your son. How about that? Bob also had a realtor's license, sold houses out in the town and county realty, which he owned with his brother-in-law, married his wife Marlene in 1957. Spent time in Wisconsin Lake Delavan, and we have a cottage up there, and would glide across the dance floor at weddings. So we just did dancing there. He also was a member of the Vets Club and played euchre every Sunday, a member of the Sycamore Vets Club, Sycamore Elks, and one-time Sycamore Moose as well. So just outstanding individual. Laverne Olson was born on the family farm in Millen Township, Malta in 1931. His father assisted with the birth. Now, how often do you read that?
Not that often, but I guess back in the time.
1931, you ain't going off to the hospital.
No, the doctor used to come to you. They'd have to call for the doctor, especially in the small towns. So.
How about that? So Dad helped with the birth. Laverne attended Tyler one-room schoolhouse until its closure in Millen Township. Shabana High School, graduated in 1950. More than once, the school principal, Miss Cook, told him, quote, "Your smile will serve you well and get you far in life." Anybody ever say that to you? I don't think I've had questions like that, but never actually. After working with his father on the farm, Laverne enlisted the United States Army, proudly served 2 years on the West Coast, seeing the mountains and the oceans for the first time. In 1956, he married Marjorie Johnson of Leland at meeting at the Long Barn Dance, and enjoyed 70 years of marriage.
Wow.
70 years of marriage.
Impressive.
Oh, my. And they raised 3 sons there. Lifelong member of the Calvary Lutheran Church as well. Laverne farmed and started a custom corn shelling and trucking business, with many knowing him as the Sheller Man. At the height of his business in the 70s, he would shell more than 1 million bushels a year.
Wow.
Wow. Talk about finding your niche, no pun intended there. Yep. And finally, Doris Helcher. Doris was 101 in Cortland, born in 1925 on Russell Barron Farm in Burlington, the daughter of Ralph and Zeta Barron. Her family later moved to Sycamore, where they enjoyed the best of 2 worlds, living on the edge of town, where they're surrounded by Tom's Foy's farm. You know Tom Foy's farm? Bess Rowley's orchard, and empty lots, yet remained within walking distance of the Sycamore Park, the library, church, and schools, all of which had an influential impact on Doris's life. Doris attended Sycamore School, graduating in the class of 1943. How about that, 1943? Wow. Right in the midst of World War II, she's graduating high school. Right. Doris married Ken Helcher in 1949. The same year, they moved to Cortland, where they resigned for the next 70 years. We're going 70 years again. For the next 70 years, throughout her working year, Doris was employed at the DeKalb Ogle Telephone Company. Remember that we used to have a telephone company?
Yes.
And by Dr. Fenwick, later retired from the Crescent Electric. 1955, Doris and Ken installed a in-ground swimming pool. How about that, 1955? That must have been a big deal. That became the center of many happy times. Neighbor kids were always welcome to join the fun, needing only a simple okay slip by the parents. Boy, talk about a different time. I said, Mom and Dad said it's okay if we come over and swim. How great is that? Doris was deeply appreciative of the world of God created, and considered herself truly blessed to have lived her life in the 30s and 40s. Yeah. How about that? Yeah. Having lived through the Depression, she was grateful for that. Also a member of the Cortland Methodist Church and Glad Tidings Assembly of God on Sundays. But, you meet these people and you have no idea what they did in their past. There was somebody last week who was a roller derby champion, roller derby star back in the day. You just never know what people did back then,
No, they walk amongst us all the time. I mean, that's, we're celebrating, 250 years of this country. And, you're talking about people that have been around over 100 years. And they are, and some of them in the greatest generation that are leaving us like they are now. And those are some amazing people.
They really are.
If you get to talk to some of them, I always say to kids, probably the best thing is to, talk to, one of the coolest things I think was at the high school, Sycamore High School, when I had my kids there, they would have them go over and they had a senior prom, they called it, at the nursing home. So they'd send the kids over there. And I remember how influential it was on my kids. My one son came home and he said, this sweet lady, she kept telling me her story. And he would, he goes, I had no idea, like all the things that she had seen and done. She told me about her husband who had passed and all these different things. And then he said, I met another lady and she told me similar. And then she left. She had to go to the restroom, came back, and we started over just as if like the story had started over, like it was a record. and he goes, she told me the same stuff about, he was like, couldn't stop because she was such a sweet lady. And then the third time I had to get something to drink, came back, and we started over again, the third story. And I said, you learned a lot. He goes, I did. He goes, I realized how short life is and how many people around us, how important they, you may not know them, but how important and influential they were, even in whatever you might think you're not, but that you had an impact in the community and life, and kind of made him also realize, to sit back, which was exactly like whoever at the high school at the time thought this was a great idea to get the high school kids, because, you're in high school, you're usually all into yourself, right? You're not into thinking about other people, and to get them involved, going and meeting some of these people, it was a great thing. So good.
All right, now I
good
want to know
ways
what lawyer put this together, because you're talking about the vision of the car show, and it's really, but it says, our vision extends beyond preservation of classic cars to the cultivation of widespread appreciation for the craftsmanship, innovation, and cultural impact of these vehicles through history. We aim to create an event that leverages interactive showcasing, entertainment, and digital resources to spark a passion for automotive history among the next generation, while simultaneously serving as a catalyst for community engagement and support. Who put that together? That's really well done. Also, proceeds from our endeavors uplift local services, foster a cycle of giving back that enriches our community both culturally and economically. Now, that's some writing there, whoever put that together. The mission of Turning Back Time Car Club is to educate youth on the automotive history and involve the community in the history of automobiles by hosting car entrants from around the area. And that really is true. I mean, it's our 250th anniversary. Nobody loves cars more than Americans, right? I mean, what, is it 1890s that we got our first one? But we started then? So
Absolutely. We had a electric car. What was that, from Elwood Museum? They brought it last year, and it was from like the early 1900s or late 1800s. It was one of the first electric cars. They found it in the barn, restored it, and brought it out. And everybody's looking at this old electric car, but the kids kind of like that, and it was pretty neat. But you look at literally from sea to shining sea. Not to be too corny here, but the automobile industry has changed everything. I mean, it embodies freedom, the independent spirit. You get in the car. I mean, you fill up the car, you get a tank of gas, and you head out west, and you get to see things and do things. I remember as a teenager doing the same thing. When I got my license, I was like, wow, I have freedom. I can, I got to drive within a 5-mile radius, my mom said, but that's it. But, you had that ability to get in the car, and you could go out and you could see things and do things. And
we had the first stretch of the Lincoln Highway was here, right in our area here.
Right.
And people would come from around the state just to drive on that 1 mile of road, just to see what the paved road was like.
Right.
How
You
cool
have
is
that
that?
mural that was just created in there, and it's
Yes.
controversy, whatever. I think
Well,
it's
because
pretty
people
cool.
can't forget it, because it's supposed to be from sea to shining sea. So they got Times Square, and they have the Golden Gate Bridge, and people are saying the Golden Gate Bridge is in DeKalb. Why is it on the mural? And it's like, no, it represents the highway goes from one end of the country to the other.
I thought she did a fantastic job.
She did a
And
fantastic job. She really did.
And really, we're very fortunate and blessed that they had her do that, because she's really talented. So.
And, we talked to the mayor about that and the people on the committee, and, obviously she's from Tennessee, people, why wasn't it somebody from Illinois or somebody from DeKalb? But there was nobody capable of doing that, or at least didn't come forward.
Sure.
And you saw what she was capable of.
I
And that-
guarantee if we talk to her enough, there's some tie-in to somehow out of our community.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. I've talked to people from all over the country and the world, and good old, even in my relatives out in Nebraska, they had the DeKalb corn signs everywhere, because that's what they all grew.
Sure.
And DeKalb was always, it's a worldwide name. It's taken everywhere.
I'm showing our card logo, and of course we have the ear of corn represented on our logo.
Barbed wire has been all over the planet.
Yeah.
So, there's a tie-in. I guarantee if we talked to her long enough from Tennessee, we'd have a tie-in somehow to DeKalb.
And we always do This Date in History. This Date in History brought to you by the DeKalb County History Center. Go to DeKalbCountyHistoryCenter.org. And, of course, what a wonderful organization Michelle Donahoe and the gang do there. They send us our own This Date in History. This is different from the one in the midweek. The DeKalb County Draft Board was reactivated on July 8th, 1950. People forget about the Korean War, right? We drafted kids then. Right. To draft men in the service of the Korean War, the Draft Board took up headquarters at the Sycamore Armory, where they had been located until the suspension of World War II. No accurate record of the number of inductees were ever determined, but every man inducted through the draft for the Korean War returned safely. There were 5 casualties from the county, but all were volunteers or members of the reserve units there. So, we always forget the Forgotten War, or what they call it, the conflict, the Korean conflict.
Right.
But, and finally, on this date in 1976, the DeKalb Park District was set to place a memorial stone to mark the pioneers buried at Katz Park, called Whitmore Cemetery, from the family who had lived just north of property. 23 known graves representing 13 families are contained in the graveyard in the park. Certainly more of DeKalb's earliest settlers were buried there before records were kept. The name and dates of births and deaths identified people buried there were to appear on the planned memorial as well. I remember reading about Chicago, where they moved cemeteries all the time. They were moving cemeteries, just taking people, relocating them. Right. So, boy, talking about the ultimate relocation there.
Absolutely.
And, of course, we like to look at the birthday list. We missed Dustin Stockwell's birthday on the 7th, and Ashley Weaver's as well. Tommy Weaver had his birthday on the 8th, and Karen Muller will have a birthday on the 8th. Courtney Stockel of Cortland will have a birthday on the 9th. Dave Weaver of Sycamore will have a birthday on the 10th. And Dawn Stackwell of Sheridan will have a birthday on the 12th. So that's a quick look at the birthday list. Now, you guys brought in, of course, Mike is always overkill with all the information you brought. But what do we miss? What do we miss here on this wonderful layout that you have here? I think we covered a lot of ground here. Again, the Turning Back Time Car Show is coming up July 27th.
26.
26th, pardon me. And Kelly, how long have you been president? Is this
This is my third year.
third year? Okay.
Third year as president, yes. Yeah, crazy.
Did you have
First
to be
year-
elected every year? How does that go? How
Yeah, it's a term, basically. I mean, do we have a
sentence?
term limit?
sentence or
A term
term
limit? I don't know if we have a term limit.
term limit.
It's who volunteers to put in
and
the.
mention, we
put in
can't
the
mention them
time.
all, but mention some of the other people on the board that help you with this.
So Ryan Hutchison, as we spoke earlier.
Right.
Fizz Ehrler's nephew.
Right, and Mike DeVito, Trenton DeVito, my husband Tim, Roger Crome, Megan Faye Hewer, and Don Johnson,
Joe Woodward.
Joe Woodward, Jason Manus.
Okay, very
There's
good.
nine of us.
No wonder you're the president. You got all the names there without any
Nine-
notes. That was
yeah,
good.
9 of us.
And we've had past members. I mean, literally, we that also come back and help still and volunteer and things like. And we have
Yeah,
probably
a-
about 40 volunteers.
A lot of volunteers that make the show work, and
We're
it
always
is-
looking. We're looking for always new board members to come to a meeting or volunteers to come. So come check us out. We meet once a month.
Now, we're recording this on July 9th. Do you still need help now? People hear this tomorrow or the next
Sure,
day?
absolutely. We will never say no to more help.
If you go to our website, you can contact us. You can also go to our Facebook page, and then we have put you on a list. We did. DeKalb County did a volunteer fair at the Egyptian Theater. Okay, back a couple months ago, and a huge turnout. And we had
Yeah.
a ton of people sign up to be volunteers, which was great. Because where better to go find volunteers than a volunteer fair, right?
Right.
And that's people that want to do work in the community. But it's great. You can work for an hour, a half hour, all day. You get a free T-shirt. And we have different positions for you and jobs to do, and you don't have to worry. We'll make good use of you. So and help us out with.
I was so determined to talk about Fizz earlier that I'm forgetting about Chuck Griswold. We're not giving enough credit to tell people who Chuck Griswold was and how instrumental he was with this.
Yeah, Chuck was a founder of
Yeah.
this event.
I think a lot of people think Fizz Ehrler started it, but it was Chuck who decided to name it after Fizz, right?
All right. So the whole story,
Quickly.
super fast, quickly. Chuck Griswold, Chuck's Auto, great guy in the community. Started the show back in 2000. Believe it rained. They had 300 cars still show up. That was kind of the joke because even 300 cars still show up in the rain. But he was so well loved in the community, and his good friend Fizz Ehrler was battling cancer, and he ended up losing that battle. As so many of us, I'm sure, have family.
He was
and
only
friends.
55, right?
Yeah, very young, very young. And he decided to name the show after the following years, after his good friend and the community. So it became the Fizz Ehrler. That's why people are like, oh, why is it Fizz Ehrler? Chuck Griswold said, hey, let's call it the Fizz Ehrler Memorial Turning Back Time Car Show. And the concept was, let's turn back time. And Chuck used to go to different shows. And when he would come back, to Sycamore, he'd say, why don't we do a show here? That's what, so that's what started it. He said, hey, we could put a show on here. Let's get businesses in the community and we'll put one on. And sure enough, he kind of threw it together and it worked.
It's like the old 1940s. Well, come on, let's put on a show.
Exactly.
We use my dad's garage, and I can play guitar a little bit.
Exactly. And then, ironically, and sadly, several years later, Chuck himself lost his battle with cancer. So we sat down as a board in a show, and we're like, well, we're not going to rename. We can't. How do we put several names on it? So we said, the best of show trophy is going to be named after Chuck Griswold.
Oh, there you go.
So if you win the top, like the Super Bowl trophy, it's the Chuck Griswold Award. And then that's the highest honor you can get. And then we always remember the roots of the show is basically back to volunteerism, work in the community, help people out. Chuck embodied that. Fizz embodied that. That's the
Was
character
Fizz
of the
alive to
person.
see that? Was Fizz alive to know that it was named after him?
He was pretty bad at that point, I think.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure, yeah.
But Chuck got to see that happen.
He
though,
did,
Chuck.
and he did, and for many years. And then when we found out Chuck's battle and what he was going through, and then when he passed, so it's like I said, even in my own family, and I'm sure everyone, we've all been touched by somebody who's had cancer and things like that, and how horrible it is. So I personally had cancer. Tim,
Yeah, I just
we've
lost
all
my
had a
brother
battle
last
with
year.
it.
Yeah, so yeah, we've all.
Yeah, we've all had our battles with
Yeah.
it and stuff, and indirectly. Good time to be alive today. You got a lot of help, thankfully, from a lot of great people out there. But some people don't do as well as others on it, and that's how it goes. But we hope. That's one nice thing with the cancer center that we do for the show. We make sure that we give a chunk over to those folks too that are going through that horrible stuff.
Well,
as
nothing's
well.
more important than that. That's awesome.
Absolutely. So.
Well, listen, it's been great talking to you guys. I appreciate your time and what you do for the community. It's wonderful. So don't forget Sunday, right? And
Sunday
get
the
there. We can show
26th.
up anytime if we're not showing a car, right?
Yes, the gates open at 7, so the show essentially starts at 7 if you want to come down. We don't have a lot of spectators at 7 o'clock in the morning.
No.
But, between 10 and 3, awards happen at 3 o'clock, but we'll have all of our local businesses downtown.
And we have our opening ceremonies where we say at noon. So if you
Okay.
want to see the flyover and the official kickoff,
Correct.
it's then. It's usually very hot, so dress appropriately. If you're not well, probably not come. Or hit the local businesses.
Bring water,
We do, bring water.
We'll have water as
Right, we'll have water to hand out.
coolers,
So,
yeah.
so that kind of thing, and
Yeah, and a lot of the businesses stay open too, don't they? For a lot of the bars and stuff. And
they do. A lot of the businesses. The economic impact to the community was told to me that there's about 10,000 people that visit the area for the show, whether they stay at our hotels, they go to visit and patronize the local restaurants and establishments, buy gas, do things in the community. That weekend is a big economic impact. So it helps out DeKalb, Sycamore. Things that we've done with the show in the past is like our donations back to the book program with DeKalb and with Sycamore. So we try to do that to make sure. But the main thing is when you come out to the show, it's all day. It's free to spectators. If you bring a car and you're not going to show it, you can just park it on the street outside the show area. That's free, obviously. And then, it's a great time for everybody to come out and enjoy a kind of a history. The nice thing about it is you have grandparents and great grandparents, their kids. They can show them the cars they used to have. I find myself as I see some of these cars coming in, it brings back a lot of memories of friends I had, cars they had, the cars we had, and you got something to talk about, and it transcends different generations.
That's right.
it does.
You can
I had
talk
a
about
powdered blue Dodge Dart was my first car. I called it the car of the future. It was the car of the future. I had the front seat fold all the way down, so you get like a bed. Coolest guy in high school with that one.
Absolutely.
But hey, I want to thank you guys both for what you do. We appreciate it. Again, don't forget about the Fizz Ehrler Turning Back Time car show. It's been and let's start where we began. Remember, the best place to take a leak is Sycamore, right? Can we say that?
Yeah, Sycamore Fizz shop.
Early repair.
Thank you guys so much.
Repair.
And that's DD Ryan News Podcast number 56.